the company that used to hold a virtual monopoly over fixed lines, has been struggling to become more agile in a world where mobile and data services dominate. It now says a 3-year turnaround program that resulted in thousands of retrenchments is over and it's ready for growth. Shareholders are happy with Telkom's results for the year that ended in March and a higher dividend. The share price was up more than 8% earlier. Our Francis Hurd spoke to Telkom CEO Sipho Maseko a short while ago.
I think that we were very considerate about what it is that we wanted to do. I think that we said what we will do, and I think we went out and we did it. I think that this has taken a lot of pressure, put a lot of pressure on the Telkom people, but actually there's been a remarkable resilience that I saw where people really wanted to do the right thing. I think it's much more than just the appreciation in the share price. I think the underlying business itself is a lot more stronger. We don't have any debt. We've paid off all of our debt. We've got quite a lot of cash. We can invest that cash in the future. We've returned some of it to shareholders. We've got clearer plans now on how we will look like in 3 years. We have thought through implementation plans. We have measurements for those implementation plans. And hence we can safely say, to use a football analogy, we will not be relegated. We are a lot more stable. The business is a lot more sound. We've had to take quite a lot of difficult decisions over the last 3 years. And now we are really at the tail end of what was a very difficult turnaround.
Well, like you said, it has been painful, and you had to let people go.
Yeah.
That must be huge for morale, but at the same time you're saying productivity is up, and you're dealing with the service culture that South Africans used to moan about all the time. So how are people feeling, do you think, in your company? Basically?
Well, I think now there's renewed confidence. I think people want certainty and clarity. I think that's what people want. I think there was never any doubt in understanding the difficult circumstances that we found ourselves in. There was never any doubt in terms of what it is that needed to be done. It was important for us to communicate very clearly and be very authentic and be very honest with people in terms of what it is that is required. And I think that in itself helped us generate sufficient goodwill amongst the members of our staff. And I think now that we've completed that part of the journey and we're starting a new journey, we've also gone back to them and said it will now start to feel a lot more better. However, there's things that you will need to do in order to make sure that the customers remain at the center of what we do. And we've been working quite hard to make sure that we can underpin some of the changes, especially in culture and behavior, that we need to have, but also move to empower a lot of our employees more than we may have done in the past. So if there's a query at the store, that query should not be referred back to head office. So empower the manager there to be able to deal with the customer issue, but which means upgrading the systems, making sure that it's easier for our staff, especially in the front line, to identify problems and be able to solve them.
Right. Let's look at the big context that you're working in now. The question has always been, can Telkom adjust in line with the world, basically? Fixed lines are being dumped. Did this even surprise you, more than 6% over 1 year?
Well,
is the pace surprising to you?
Well, actually, I mean, so it does and it doesn't. Quite a number of the lines that actually have been discontinued are payphones. So people don't use payphones anymore, so we would have payphones in that number, and what we called prepaid. But also more and more, you won't see lines in our financials because we'll be bundling line and the services that we offer. So in future, you won't be seeing a line rental, but actually you'll be buying a wholesome service. So
you're saying you're keeping some of those customers?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So the customers remain. It's just that the way in which we are reporting the number is still a legacy of our past.
Telkom CEO Sipho Maseko there speaking earlier with Francis Hurd.